speaker matching. Does it actually matter? Yes. Allow me to present to you Exhibit A. This speaker cabinet has no speakers in it because some guy thought he could get away with plugging a mismatched amp head into this cabinet, and consequently the speakers were cooked. So there was less resistance on the speakers and too much current flows from the amp. So of course speaker matching matters, otherwise there wouldn't be a label on the back of your amp and your cabinet telling you what the resistance should be. So picture the scene. You've just arrived at the venue where you're going to be playing your gig tonight, and you're presented with the speaker cabinet that you're going to be using. Now the first thought that goes through your head is probably, is this thing going to give me hepatitis? Well, once you've got over that hurdle, the second thought is going to be, can I actually plug my amp into this thing? Most commonly you'll find 8 ohm or 16 ohm cabinets and amplifiers with an 8 ohm output and a 16 ohm output, or perhaps it might have a switch on it. In any case, you can't necessarily take for granted what the label says on the back of the cabinet, because the speakers may well have been changed, or they can be wired differently. If you wire the speakers in series, you're going to get a summing effect of the resistance in the circuit, in which case that's going to change the total resistance of the speaker cabinet. So either way, you're going to want to check before you plug your amp into the cabinet. So how do we check? Well, do not fear, there is a way. So what you're going to need is one of these things. It's a multimeter. You can pick them up on eBay or Amazon for next to nothing. You don't need a super expensive one for this job. You just need one with an ohms rating on it. So more often than not, there will be a label on the back of the cabinet. In this case, we've got one here that says 8 ohms. Now, that may or may not be the case. Judging by the condition of the cabinet, and if it's at a well-used venue, it's more than likely had more than one set of speakers in it, and they may bear absolutely no resemblance to what's on the label. Okay, so take your multimeter, switch it over to ohms. You just want it on the lowest setting. We're only looking for double digits here. You can use a regular jack lead, but I mean you should be using a speaker lead, but for the purposes of the experiment, we're just using a regular jack lead into the 8 ohm side of the cabinet. So we're expecting to see 8 ohms. So you take the probes from your multimeter and just connect them to the jack lead like so. And when you get a good connection, 7.9, 8.1. So we can safely say that this is the 8 ohm side of the cabinet, and we're safe to plug into our amplifier on the 8 ohm side, or if you've got a switch on your amplifier, switch it over to 8 ohms. Okay, so now you know that it's perfectly safe to plug your amp into the cabinet without burning out the speakers or damaging your amplifier.